Well, I began to really get to know Gene when he moved to Kansas City to assume leadership role at the Kauffman Foundation. He really is very well known, very well respected nationally in the foundation world and in the philanthropic community. He's been very active for a very long period of time with organizations like Independent Sector and the Council on Foundations.
Once he becomes involved with your issue, it becomes his issue, and he is out in the community helping to educate others and advocating for that issue. When he was the CEO of the ARCO Foundation in California, older adults were a focus of that foundation. So he brought that experience and knowledge to us. And so one of the largest impacts that Gene has had is to help the community understand the importance, not only that as a region we are becoming older population-wise, but just what that means. But more importantly, Gene wants folks to see that older adults are an asset.
So Gene has been very helpful at trying to help organizations think these things through, act on the community needs that are there, and frankly to do it without the kind of visibility that becomes distracting from the real purpose.
I couldn't imagine playing golf every day for the rest of my life. What I get out of volunteering is personal. It is fulfillment. It is knowing that I can apply 40 years of experience in a useful way through service to other people.
Anyone who I think has the fortune of having Gene Wilson be a volunteer understands a couple things about Gene. One is he's a lifelong learner. He's driven by data and he's driven by learning.
I really have a passion for the sector. Take United Community Services, Johnson County. They collect data, they analyze data, and then they interpret the implications of those data for policymakers. But I also volunteer for the Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth. The board is mostly made up of retired generals and CEOs, and then there's me. I bring the knowledge of nonprofit governance. I bring the knowledge of nonprofit accountability and transparency and what it means to be an effective nonprofit organization. I suppose I'm a wonk. My family will tell you that our pool table has been stacked with reading materials that I want to get to for decades, okay?
He's a really unique mix of skills, abilities, style, connections. And so when Gene believes in something that you're doing and says he'll help you, you've got a great ally.
What drives me is to try to have the boards on which I serve be the most effective boards possible based on good theory and good practice.
I do have to say though that if we're talking about Gene standing out as a bead in the kaleidoscope, I think actually he's not going to stand out. He's part of the background that the kaleidoscope doesn't work if he's not there. He's part of what helps the pattern work as a whole.